Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles and welcome to Motivational Monday. On Mondays, I go over any scriptures, quotes, positive sayings or experiences from my life or from the stories that you guys send me. And I go over those things to provide inspiration and motivation for the week. So today I'm going to be going over, it's not really a quote that I found online, but it's a piece of advice that has helped me. And it's a piece of advice that I've shared with others as well that has provided some sense of inspiration and motivation to actually get started with their business ideas. So before we get into the video, be sure to give me a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed and let's get right into the video. I stress this all the time, you guys. When I first started, I had a lot of women that would come to me and I would hear different stories. And with every story that I hear, I learn something new. I'm always learning every day. And so I'm always thinking of ways that I can try to help as many people as possible. You know, I want to make sure that I'm very inclusive with my program. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm helping as many people as I can. And I want to make sure that I'm being open to different concepts and to different changes that I can do to make sure that I'm giving everything that I can to who wants to hear it. You know what I mean? And also that I'm learning everything that I can from whoever provides their insight and advice. And so even on this channel, you know, it's not just a channel where I'm just telling you guys, this is what you have to do for success. No, it's not that at all. I'm just giving you guys my perspective based on the things that I've gone through that have helped me. And I'm listening to the insight that you guys provide and I'm learning from you guys as well. So that's what it's all about. I used to always say, you know, the time to start your business is not when you need extra money. Now, don't get this mixed up, please. If you need extra money, obviously, you know, you're going to have to figure out other ways to generate income. So starting a business is not a bad idea if you're needing money. But the reason that I say this is because a lot of people wait. They procrastinate. They're like, you know what? I'm doing really good in my life right now. And sometimes you don't even think about having another set of income set up. I remember when I was younger, I use this analogy a lot, you guys. I didn't feel like I needed to have any other forms of saving, or my mentality was just different. I was comfortable in the job that I was at. I was very excited and happy with the income that I was making. And so I didn't think about, okay, hey, what happens if I no longer work here? What happens if something happens where I cannot go to this job? What happens if? I never thought about that if. I was just comfortable in living in the now. And so when you are wanting to be more financially stable and more financially aware, you have to realize that we can't be comfortable just living in the now. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to be happy in our current stage in life. It doesn't mean that we can't be appreciative or grateful for where we're at in our life, but it means that never get to the point where you're too comfortable and you're relying on just one source of income, because anything can happen. Anything can happen, even in the business world, even becoming an entrepreneur. You never want to get too comfortable with just, you know, what you're doing, because anything can happen. Anything can happen. And so if one stream of your income shuts down or slows down, you still want to make sure, especially if you have a family, you still want to make sure that you have another means of income to still get everything done. Does that mean that, you know, everything's going to work out peachy keen all the time and you're never going to need help or you're never going to need assistance? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means if you can set yourself up for a smoother transition, if something were to happen with your current income, that's the smartest thing to do, in my opinion. I have a lot of people that came to me and would be like, you know what, I just lost my job and I need extra money today. So, you know, give me whatever I need to do to sign up for this drop shipping. I'll spend my last, and I need money. And the problem with that is when you start anything, I don't care if it's drop shipping. I don't care if you're selling sandals. I don't care if you're selling eyelashes. I don't care if you're selling shoes. I don't care what you're selling. Typically, when you start a business, like I say all the time, it's not an overnight success. So the risk that we run with waiting until we need extra money is we're putting ourselves in a position where, okay, typically when you start a business, it takes some kind of investment. So we're put in a position where we're spending money and we're not receiving any money coming in. And we're put in a position where we actually have to wait until that business grows. And that takes time. But in the meantime, you're sitting here like, okay, I need to make money fast. Like I need something to make, you know what I mean? And so we have to be proactive so that even if something arises in your life, we're still able to say, you know what, I'm still able to move forward. I may not be able to move the same way that I was moving last month because one of my sources of income shut down, but I'm still able to take care of myself. And this is really handy. Even when I had a job, you know, if I felt like I was being disrespected or if I felt like I wasn't being appreciated in my job or excluded or anything like that, I wouldn't have to stay. Now, there was a point in my life where I had to stay at a job where I was not appreciated, where I was disrespected. where I was underpaid, and I had to stay there because in order for me to pay my bills, I had to stay at that job until I found something new. And I hated that feeling. And so right there, it taught me, hey, Brittney, you need to make sure that you have another way of supporting yourself just in case something happens with this job. I mean, how many of us have been in a job where, there's so much churn? You have a friend one week and the next week the friend's gone. Or, you've been in somebody that's been in a department for over 5-10 years. And then all of a sudden you get a new manager or a new vice president and that person is just fired. That person's gone, and it kind of makes you a little nervous. You're looking back like, wow, is my job really as secure as I thought it was? And so before you even get to that point, we have to be proactive in planning for what if situations. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but I'm saying if this does happen, what am I going to do? And so when you're looking at your whole life, you want to make sure that you're being proactive on certain situations, just like I mentioned. So I'm not going to wait until I lose my job for me to start trying to find other ways of income. I'm going to start doing that now. I'm not going to wait until I need food for me to sit here and plan my grocery list. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to plan ahead. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing the right actions so that I can have something built up in the future, regardless if I'm at my job, regardless if I'm not. But the first step, like I mentioned, is be proactive. Second thing that I want to go over is invest in yourself. So even though you may be comfortable in the current career or position that you have, you still want to make sure that you're always learning and growing skills for yourself. Just because you got that job and you got it with the skills that you currently have does not mean that you want to stop educating yourself. If you have a job where your role is just to type and it's not really exercising any of your other skills, you're not really able to communicate with other people because you're in a room by yourself all day. You're not really able to, show any of the skills that you have. You still have to take it upon yourself to continue to use those skills, because if you don't, what you don't use, a lot of times we lose. And so it's very imperative, especially if you're wanting to be financially stable. And like I said, we want multiple streams of income. We want to be proactive. We have to start looking at the skills that we have and applying them. Even if our job isn't applying those skills, we still have to find a way to apply the skills and to grow knowledge. So sometimes that may mean going to the library on your days off. Sometimes that may mean going to the bookstore. Some days that may mean going to different functions. Even though you're like, I really don't feel like networking. I really don't feel like going to this event. I can just Google the information. You can Google the information. That's a form of learning as well. But I'm just saying that make sure that you're using your skills. Make sure that you're exercising what it is you're good at or what it is you want to learn to do. Because keep in mind, if you don't do that, and like I said, if something doesn't work out with this role, you still want to be able to have a skill set that can be useful to another company if you're looking for another job, or a skill set that can be used to help you in your business. And because the world is always changing, we're always learning. Being just comfortable with the skills that you already have and not being willing to learn more or push yourself further isn't a wise choice, in my opinion. I always want to learn as much as I can. I'm always open and realistic in the fact that we all help each other and no one knows everything. I don't care how many followers they have. I don't care how many years they've been in the business. Everyone's still learning, or we should be learning, because no one knows everything. And so in order for me to be my best, me keeping my eye open, me making sure that I'm educating myself, growing my skills is going to help me. Not just me as a person and not just me helping other people, but it's also going to help me with my income, because that's the way that a lot of us are paid, based on our skills and our talents. The third thing that I want to go over is start with what you have. I've mentioned this before, you guys. I feel like a lot of times we wait too long. Get started, because also with research and with education, a lot of education comes from being in the field. It comes from actually being out on the floor, living life, trying different things, experiencing different things, trial and error. So you can research as much as you want, but if you're not willing to take that step and actually start, there's still a lot of lessons that you haven't learned yet. And so it's use what you have. Even if you're at a job and you're like, what, all I have available to set aside to invest in my business is $5. Start there. Set aside $5. Do what you can. If you have a job where all you can do, and you can't set aside any money, but you can set aside time to actually learn the skill, learn the business, learn the trade, learn the industry that you're wanting to go in, do that. And even if you're like, okay, when I get home, I have the kids practice. I have to get them home. I have to cook them dinner. I have to do homework. I have to get them in the bed, and then we have to do it all over. I'm a mom, so I get it. I understand everything that's on our plate. I'm not one of those people where I'm like, whatever, that's just an excuse. I'm not one of those people at all. I'm very very practical. And so I understand some days it be like that, you know, and so many, in the loss for words, it be like that sometimes. It is. Sometimes you don't have the time to sit down and, you know, invest all the time into your business. Even if people say, you know, make the time. There's nights that I can't touch my business at all. There's nights that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to reply to these emails tomorrow. And that's why I have the right expectation on my email, on my reply. If you've ever emailed me, then you've probably got a reply back that says, you know, I'm assisting other clients, or, you know, I'll contact you within 1 to 2 business days. But I set the right expectation because sometimes, like I said, it be like that. You may not be able to do everything that night. And so even if that means that you have to prioritize your schedule a little bit different. So even when I was working, I may not have had time to respond to the emails, and I might know, okay, when I get home, it's going to be a hectic night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to respond to the emails on my lunch break. So instead of me going to the cafeteria or to the lounge room and sitting there, you know, talking to my friends or sitting there watching something on Netflix, I'm going to actually do something productive. And it may feel like you didn't get a break the whole day, but you still got things that you needed accomplished. If that means that on your breaks, you're not sitting there, I don't know, whatever you do on your break. If that means that you're taking your break time and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to do some research right now. I'm going to put my headphones in and I'm going to take my notebook to work with me and actually write some notes so that I'm getting further. You know, just something where you're actually progressing yourself. So start with what you have. Whether that means you're starting with a little bit of time or money or a lot, you know, you just have to start with what you have. You have to start getting the ball rolling, because you have to figure, if I'm a soccer mom now, or if I'm going to practice now, I mean, practice doesn't end tomorrow. I'm going to have to do it again. You know, my job doesn't end tomorrow. I'm going to have to go back to work. And so I need to find a way where I can still get started with the schedule that I have. So start with what you have. The fourth tip is going to be prioritize your plans. So you have to figure out, you know, what is important and what can you do without this week. And it kind of goes back to what I was just talking about, taking advantage of the time that you already have and figuring out, okay, what is important that I do? I may not be able to commit to every single obligation. You know, there's a lot of holidays, there's a lot of different parties, there's a lot of events. The truth is, you may not be able to commit to every single event. I'm not saying that you have to act funny or treat anyone different, but you do have to be serious about what you're wanting to accomplish. And you do have to be serious about prioritizing those plans. Maybe some things that you may have to reschedule, but ultimately you have to make sure that you're prioritizing your plans. What is most important this week? What do I need to get done? Now, the other stuff that I may want to get done, we can come back and revisit that once, you know, I have a good plan for what I need to get done. But we're not wrong for making sure that we're okay. In order to make sure that we're okay and that we're setting ourselves up for the best financial state, we have to make sure that we're looking at our schedule and looking at what makes most sense. You know, what do I need to do this week? I need to make sure I do homework with my kids. So I can't cut that out. I need to make sure that I'm going to work. I can't cut that out right now. I need to make sure that I'm doing this. So I can't cut that out right now. But okay, I was going to do this. I really don't have to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and X this off and put something in that's going to be very useful for what I'm trying to do. Okay. The fourth tip is going to be, the fourth. Are we on the fourth? No, we're on the fifth. So the fifth tip is save. There's a lot of people that even to this day, they say, you know what, Brittney, you can afford to go out right now. You can afford to buy this. You can get this for yourself. And I don't want to say a lot of people, but some people that I know, you know, may say, Brittney, you know, they may say, hey, Brittney, do you want to go out to eat? And I'm like, I don't know this week. Brittney, you can afford it. You can afford to go out. You can afford to do this. And it's not a matter of if you can afford to do it or not. It's a matter of where your priorities lie. And I'm not saying when you're a business owner or when you can't have any fun. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that there are some sacrifices that you're going to have to make, as with anything that you're wanting to do. So I may not be able to go on a shopping spree every time I see my friends go shopping. And then we have to realize too, everyone has a different budget situation. So yeah, just because you have this money, you may be willing to spend most of your check and not save it. Whereas I'm saying, you know what, even though I have the money to spend, if I wanted to, I still feel more comfortable saving to make sure that if something happens, I'm still able to get my money instead of borrowing it from someone else, which is nothing wrong with borrowing or asking for money. But if I don't have to do that, if I'm being proactive and I don't have to do that, you know, that works best for me. So save. Don't be afraid to save. Don't be afraid that, you know, you have to prove yourself. I love shopping as much as the next person. I do. But if I want something, I'm going to have to save for it. I can't just say, you know what, I have this money in my account. So right now, I really, really want this bag from Louis Vuitton. So I'm going to go ahead and get it because I can. No, we have to be more disciplined and we have to say, you know what, yeah, I can get it, But it's going to make more sense for me to actually continue to save, put some money aside for the bag, and get it when I can afford it. You know what I mean? So save is another huge piece of advice, a huge tip in making sure that you're financially stable. You know, you have to start somewhere. Even if you, like I said, even if it's $5, it may sound crazy, but it adds up. It definitely adds up. Save what you can. Make sure that you have a savings account and put that money aside, you know, and realize that that savings account is not just to go into when you're hungry and you want some extra food from, what do we have? We only have one seafood restaurant here in my city. So Red Lobster, for example, you know, I'm not going to sit here and just keep digging out of my savings because I have a taste for Red Lobster. Okay. Now I'm digging out my savings because I have a taste to go ahead and eat at, something else tonight. Okay. Now I'm gonna dig back out my savings because I really, really want this jacket that everyone's wearing. You have to have some kind of discipline, you know, make sure that you're saving for those rainy days. And the last thing that I'm going to go over is be grateful, but not comfortable. We kind of touched on that in the beginning, you guys. A lot of people, they associate you not being comfortable with you not being grateful. Oh, you don't appreciate where you're at in life. You know, give me your cards. I bet I'll appreciate it. Or, you know what? You're not grateful for what you've actually accomplished. You know, you just sit here and you still talking about you're not comfortable. And, you know, how ungrateful is that? And it's like, you guys, you don't have to be ungrateful to not be comfortable. Yes, I'm grateful for the life that I have. I love the life that I have. You know, I love what I'm building, but at the same time, I'm not comfortable with it, meaning I'm not going to stop there. I'm always wanting to grow. And so just because I'm not comfortable in my certain situation with my finances or with my business does not mean that I'm not grateful. I am very grateful. You can be very grateful and still not comfortable. It's just like if, let me use Christmas as an analogy. Say someone gives you a sweater for Christmas and you know, this person really put their all into picking out this sweater and they give it to you, but you can't fit it. And it's like, I'm not comfortable in this sweater because this sweater is too small for me. But I'm grateful that you gave it to me. Like, I really appreciate the fact that you gave me the sweater, you know, that you thought about me on Christmas to get me this. It means a lot. I'm very, very grateful. I'm just not comfortable in it because it's too small. Same thing. I'm very grateful for what the opportunities that I have. I'm very grateful for the skills that God has blessed me with. I'm very grateful for the people that I'm able to touch and help with my services. I'm very grateful for the people that I've met that have been able to help me as well. I'm grateful, but I'm not comfortable because I'm not done yet. I still want to make sure that I'm getting up and trying my best every day because I'm not comfortable with where I'm at in my business. I'm not comfortable with the amount of people or satisfied with the amount of people that I've reached out to so far. I still want to help as many people as I can. So although I'm grateful, I'm still growing. I'm in that sweater that's a little small. And so I'm not comfortable, but I'm still grateful. So you guys, I hope this video helped. You know, the moral of the video is, you know, just don't wait until you actually hit rock bottom to try to come back up. Now, it doesn't mean that if you hit rock bottom, you shouldn't come back up, because obviously you should. You should try whatever you can. But if you're in a position where you're like, you know what, I'm just going to not take my finances seriously. I'm not going to try to invest in a business idea at this point because I don't have to. To me, it's a very dangerous mindset to have. Don't wait until you have to get extra income in order to start. Start doing what you can do right now. Start building that other set of income before anything happens. You know what I mean? Not saying that anything will happen, but you want to make sure that you're being proactive. And so with that being said, you guys, I do want to let you know there's a lot of people that are interested in drop shipping with me. I do drop ship hair extensions. So if you are interested in the drop shipping program, this week is a great time to take advantage of it. It is $35.99 to get started. And that covers you for 3 months of drop shipping. Typically it's $50 for the basic plan. If you guys have any questions about that, leave it below. I'm happy to answer all of your questions. If you have any questions or comments about the video that I just created, feel free to leave that below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.